From 1975 to 2025, I was the only survivor of the human cryopreservation experiment. Though I was already 70, my face remained that of a woman in her 20s. I planned to find my younger brother, who was now living in a prestigious family, to reunite as siblings. But suddenly, a stream of bizarre comments appeared before my eyes. The female lead is really dumb. Her younger brother built a business empire from the tiny shop she left behind. But people change. He probably doesn't even remember he had a sister like her. What's the point of reconnecting now? Exactly. The Tem family is in the middle of a brutal inheritance battle. If she dares to show up and claim kinship, even ancestors won't save her from being sent straight to the afterlife. Only Min-Chu truly loves the female lead. Marrying him guarantees a lifetime of happiness. Right then, Min-Chu knelt on one knee in front of me, his eyes sincere. Chi-Yen, the world of the elite is dangerous. Please don't go back. Marry me instead. I'll take care of you and protect you forever. I was deeply moved and just about to nod when suddenly a strange voice echoed in my ears. It was his inner thoughts. System, you've released those fake comments, right? System, the fake comments are out. But, host, do you really want to marry Tam Chi-Yen? According to the original script, Tam An becomes the Tam family's heir. You'd live a rich and carefree life with her. I froze. I gave the heir position that belonged to Tam Chi-Yen to An. I owe her. I'll use the rest of my life to make it up to her. As for An, she's achieved her dream. Even without me, she'll be happy. I immediately stopped feeling moved. Hey, you, I thought we were connected in mind and soul. You were playing tricks on me. But he misunderstood. From the start, I was someone who always prioritized her career. Such fleeting love couldn't block the path I'd chosen, seeing me stay silent. Min-Chu gently slid a ring onto my finger, his eyes full of affection. Chi-Yen, don't worry. I'll protect you for the rest of my life. I took the ring off and smack a crisp sound echoed through the silence as the ring hit his face. No need. I'm going to find my family. Min-Chu's lips pressed tight, his eyes reddened as he stared at me. Suddenly, more virtual comments surged into view. The devoted male lead got rejected. How heartbreaking. The female lead is so dumb. If she goes tonight to find her family, Tam An will definitely feed her to the dogs. What is the female lead even thinking? Why rush to her death for no reason? I ignored them all and started walking away. Min-Chu hurriedly grabbed my wrist, panic in his voice. Chi-Yen, don't waste your effort, even if you show up. Tam Laojia will never acknowledge you as his sister, let alone hand over the family assets. I looked at him calmly. Why not? He sighed. Back then, Tam Laojia became wealthy, thanks to your pickled vegetable shop. That was the foundation for everything. He's long forgotten his humble beginnings. The entire Tem family wishes you'd just disappear. Why would he give anything to you now? Seeing his face filled with worry, I couldn't help but laugh. I pulled my hand away. Even if that's true, it's still my business, no matter what the outcome is. I have to try. More comments surged in. Seriously, is she crazy? Is status and wealth worth risking her life? Why does she keep walking straight into trouble? The male lead truly cares about her. He's heartbroken. He loves her deeply but gets rejected. She'll regret it one day. The more I saw them, the faster I strode toward the villa. Behind me came Min-Chu's confused thoughts. What's going on? Why is Tam Chi-Yen so determined to find her family? Could it be she knows that Tam Laojia has always waited for her return? System, what do we do now? Play it by ear. I won't let her succeed. I followed the address to the villa where my younger brother lived. Many people were going in and out, and since I was dressed properly, it was easy to blend in. Suddenly, a woman dressed in luxury stepped forward and blocked my path. Her gaze swept me up and down, filled with disdain. Who are you? I clearly remember today's family banquet does not welcome outsiders. Immediately, a stream of virtual comments popped up. Finally, the vicious supporting female has shown her face. The female lead is doomed. Who told her to come back and seek out her family? That woman is the Tem family's precious granddaughter raised to inherit the estate. How could she climb that high without being ruthless? The woman before me looked smug, but I calmly replied, I came to find my family. Taman crossed her arms and sneered with mockery. Another one claiming to be family, tell me which illegitimate child of the Tem family are you supposed to be? At her words, I straightened my back and declared each word clearly, I'm your grandmother. Taman froze, then stared at me as if I were insane, her face filled with irritation. Right then, laughter erupted in the grand hall. People claiming to be someone's parent is one thing, but someone claiming to be a granddaughter's grandma, that's a first. If she really were Taman's grandmother, then Tam Thoyan breaking her only painting would have gotten him strangled to death by now. Following the direction of the laughter, I spotted a lonely young man sitting in a corner. He had delicate features, but his clothes were stained with wine, making him look utterly dishevelled. He stared at me wide-eyed, as if he'd just seen a ghost, his eyes filled with disbelief. Could she really be Grandma? The crowd who had just mocked me immediately turned to him, slapping his face mockingly and laughing wildly. You believe that crap? She's younger than Anne. Obviously a lie. Idiot, and you think you can compete with Anne for inheritance, right? This guy's cursed. His mother died giving birth to him. Then he broke his grandaunt's painting, nearly sent Grandpa to the hospital for good. Shut up and stay in your room. Stop embarrassing us. Forget it. Just beat him up. Don't even bring up the painting. It's Grandpa's deepest sorrow. As they spoke, they raised wine glasses, preparing to pour them over the young man again. I was shaking with rage. I shouted, "Stop!" The hall fell silent. The raised hand trembled and nearly dropped the wine. Taman glared coldly at me. You haven't been thrown out yet. Someone dragged this garbage out. If Grandpa sees her, he'll definitely have a stroke again. My gaze turned cold. They were just about to act when bang! The main doors suddenly burst open. Tam Lao Jia entered, escorted by bodyguards. The atmosphere immediately turned solemn. Every gaze shifted toward the old man as he slowly took his seat at the head of the hall. I was stunned, seeing my younger brother. 50 years had passed, his hair now fully white. Time had carved years of hardship onto his face. Looking into those eyes, strange yet familiar, I couldn't hold back and called out, Tam Dai Nien. Tam Lao Jia froze mid-motion, then slowly looked up at me. The virtual comments exploded. Oh my God, the female lead is nuts. She called Tam Lao Jia by name. Is she tired of living? Look at everyone's faces like they've seen a ghost. I can't stop laughing. Time for a good show. She's done for. The crowd buzzed with whispers, everyone waiting for drama to unfold. Thamanan's face turned black as she screamed, No manners! Security! Get this lunatic out of here now! Several guards approached to restrain me. I quickly yanked off the necklace around my neck and raised the Tem family heirloom jade high. I am your blood relative. Who dares to touch me? Everyone held their breath. The air froze. That's the Tem family's ancestral jade. Could she really be our grandmother? Get real. What kind of grandma looks 20? But didn't the old man once mention she joined a top-secret experiment? What if that project really preserved her youth? Hearing that, a flicker of panic crossed Tam An's face. She quickly stepped forward, clung to the old man's arm, and acted affectionate. Grandpa, even if that jade is real, people can fake it too. She's crazy. Don't believe her nonsense. Tension thickened in the hall. The old man leaned on his cane, stared at me for a long time, then slowly said, Bring the jade here. Let me take a good look. I was just about to hand it over when suddenly Tu Min Chu burst in like a storm. He snatched the jade from my hand and smashed it to the ground. Chi, wake up! The Tam family is not something you can dream of joining. By the time I came to my senses, the jade had shattered into pieces. My mind went blank and my hand moved faster than thought. I slapped him hard across the face. To Min Chu, go see a doctor. How dare you break my things? He didn't fight back, just lowered his head and calmly apologized to the crowd. Sorry for the disturbance, everyone. She's my girlfriend. That jade was a fake. She bought online for 99 yuan. She has delusions, often imagining herself as some heiress. Here's her medical report. Everything I've said is true. Please don't blame her. The medical report was quickly passed from hand to hand, sparking whispered discussions. So poor she went crazy. Did she really think claiming family ties would make her rich? But to be fair, she did have presents earlier. I almost believed her. Clearly mentally unstable, daring to mess with the Tam family. Lucky for her, the old man is kind. Otherwise, she'd be dead and buried already. Eventually, the report reached Tam Old Master. His face gradually darkened. He sighed helplessly and waved his hand. Enough! Take her away. The Tem family does not make things difficult for the ill Tam. And secretly sighed in relief, the corner of her mouth curling into a smug smile. Didn't you hear Grandpa say to throw her out? Security, why haven't you acted yet? The guards were about to move again, but Taminchu stepped in front of me, raising his hand, his eyes full of pleading. Chi Yen, the elite world is not a place for us to dream of. I just want a normal life with you. Come back with me, please. Virtual. Comments exploded. The male lead loves her from so much, risking everything to drag the female lead away. I'm crying. Female lead. Stop being stubborn only by going with the male lead. Can you survive? Everyone's eyes turned to me, filled with mockery and ridicule. I understood then. Taminchu was using this as a ploy to force me out. Clearing the way for Taman to become the heir, I slapped his hand away and turned to Tam Old Master, speaking solemnly. If no one believes me, then I request a DNA test. Since waking up, I've searched everywhere to find my family. During that time, I learned that a DNA test could prove blood relations. I will not let anyone control my fate. The whole hall froze. What, she dares request a DNA test? Could she really be the grandmother, Taman? Anne's smile stiffened her eyes, showing a hint of panic. Are you just stalling? Why should we listen to you? Enough. Tam Old Master struck his cane hard on the floor. Knock, knock. The entire hall fell silent. And go call a doctor to do a DNA test for her. Tamanan clenched her lips, unwilling, but didn't dare argue, and mumbled, Yes, Grandpa, I'll go now. Virtual comments erupted again. The female lead really knows no fear, charging into claiming family ties. She'll regret it only when she's dead. I ignored them calmly, sitting down for the doctor to collect a sample. A while later, the doctor returned. Holding the results standing before the crowd, he announced, Ladies and gentlemen, the results are in. The conclusion is clear. The hall held its breath. I raised my head with confidence until the doctor declared in a clear voice, Mr. Tam and this young woman share no blood relation. A few seconds later, loud laughter erupted in the hall. We expected a shocking twist, but it turned into a farce. I'm dying of laughter. She really committed to the act, didn't she? Only now does she stop. This is gold. My face turned pale. I stepped forward and snatched the report from the doctor. At the bottom of the page, the words were clear: blood. Relation between Tam Chi Yen and Tam Dai Nien excluded. I gripped the paper tightly, my voice trembling. Impossible, I am his biological sister. There's something wrong with this result. I request another test. Enough. The Old Master shouted, his cane striking hard on the floor. Thud, thud, the hall fell into silence. He looked at me with tired eyes full of deep disappointment. He sighed heavily. Many know my name, and quite a few know. I waited for my sister, but child, you are young, and yet you walk the crooked path. Deceiving like this will lead to no good end. I have waited 50 years for my sister, now I'm half a step into the grave. I should not hold hope any more. I will not pursue this matter. Leave. Do not stir up more trouble. Taman lifted her head proudly, not forgetting to sneer coldly at me. Fake is always fake. Even 10 tests won't change that. Now get lost. Just then, from the corner of the room, the lonely young man finally spoke up. Turning to Tam Old Master, Grandpa let her take the test again. She really is our grandaunt. Tam-An snapped, "Tam Thoyan, shut up. You're a jinx. You have no right to speak in the Tem family." But Tam Thoyan did not care. He quickly walked up to the old man and with a thud knelt down on the ground. His eyes were red. He choked up. "Grandfather, only you and I have seen the portrait of grandmother. Even though your memory is unclear because of your illness, I was the one who broke it. I still clearly remember her face. The person standing here is her. Please, let me take the sample and test it again." Tam-An's face turned pale. She quickly walked over and slapped Tam Thoy-An hard. "Tam Thoy-An, I thought you were just a jinx, but I didn't expect you to betray me and collude with outsiders. You know you can't win the heir position, so now you plan to fake a family member to steal everything from the Tem family, right? Let me tell you, stop dreaming. Someone take this brat away and teach him a lesson." Several guards immediately approached Tam. Thoyan struggled, bowing his head repeatedly to the carpet, his voice trembling with urgency. "Grandfather, please, I'm begging you, let her do the test again. She really is our grandmother. She is not lying." Each bow left a crimson blood mark on the carpet. I pressed my lips tightly, my face heavy. The old master of the Tem family was breathing heavily, a flicker of hesitation in his eyes. At last he spoke deeply. "Enough. Stop bowing. I will give her another chance. But if the result is the same as before, I will not only not forgive her, but I will not forgive you either, Tam and panicked grandfather." But the old master turned his face away and waved his hand. "That's my decision. Go get it done." Tam Thoyan stood up, his eyes filled with tears, bowing deeply. "Thank you, grandfather. I'll go right away." I watched the boy's figure rush out with the sample, my heart tightening. A sincere child. If he personally handled it, the result couldn't be tampered with. I just had to wait patiently when the result returned. I would make them all lower their heads in silence. At this moment, the virtual comments flooded the screen. "The female lead is truly the dumbest alive. This time she's finished better. Start preparing her memorial photo. So fake all the time. Aren't you tired? If you had any sense, you'd leave already." I frowned, turned my face away, not bothering to read further. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Min Chiu standing to the side, his gaze fixed on me. Immediately, his inner voice rang cold and venomous in my ears. "Another meddler. Tam Chi Yen's luck is absurd. System, the host is getting out of control. If this time fails, everything ends. If she continues to be stubborn, I will make sure she doesn't live through the night." I coldly pulled my gaze back, my heart unshaken. When I turned to Tam-An and I saw her furiously tapping away on her phone, her eyes met mine, flashing with a savage glint, like a cornered beast. I closed my eyes. If I couldn't see it, I wouldn't be bothered. Time passed minute by minute, then the phone rang, a video call projected onto the big screen. Tam Thoy-An appeared, his face flushed from running, his voice loud and clear. "The second DNA test result is in." The entire hall instantly fell silent. He turned the camera, showing the result. Paper clearly line by line. "Ms. Tam Chi Yen and the old master have a direct blood relationship." Thud, the cane in the old man's hand dropped to the ground. The old master stood up in shock. Someone rushed to support him. He staggered forward, his trembling hands reaching for mine. Sister, is it really you? You've come back." I looked at him, eyes steady, and nodded gently. "It's me, I've returned." I held my head high, my gaze sweeping the crowd. Those who mocked me earlier now lowered their heads. None dared to breathe too loud. When my eyes landed on the pale face of Tam-An, and I smirked. Now the truth is out. Perhaps it's time to investigate who tampered with the first test result. Immediately, all eyes turned to Tam, and she flinched, her arrogant expression turning to panic, then grievance. "Grandmother, I don't know anything. It must have been that doctor. He's worked for the Tem family for over 10 years. I found out he embezzled funds recently. He must have been scared that if you returned, you'd uncover it, so he faked the result." The doctor nearby widened his eyes and shouted angrily, "She is lying. She offered me 5 million to fake the result." She even threatened that if the old lady returned in time, she would lose her chance to inherit. Before he could finish speaking, smack Tam Ann. Anne rushed forward and slapped the doctor across the face. "What nonsense are you spouting? Do you have any proof?" The doctor sneered, pulled out his phone and slammed it onto the table. On the screen was clearly a 5 million transfer receipt. Under her name, I don't want the money anymore. Today, I must expose her true face. Someone who betrays the family for money, lies to the entire clan. No shame at all, Tam Ann trembled, her eyes red. She rushed to hug the old man, grandfather. "I didn't do it. That must be a fake image he set me up." But the old man quietly pushed her away. His voice lowered, filled with bitter disappointment. "I've spoiled you for so many years, treated you as my most outstanding granddaughter. Yet you did such a disgraceful thing, Hamthoy. Anne may not be as capable as you, but his character surpasses yours tenfold." He turned away, no longer looking at her, and declared solemnly, "Today your grandmother has returned. I will keep my promise. The entire inheritance of the Tem family will be passed to her. As long as I live, no one is allowed to compete." Then he turned and added, "Tam, Anne, I am too disappointed. Expel her from the house. As for her wrongdoing, let the law handle it." With that, he held onto my arm, ready to leave. Tam Ann, panicked, knelt down and clung to his sleeve, crying, "No, grandfather, please forgive me. I didn't mean to. I was just emotional. Give me one more chance. I'll make it right," she cried until her face was soaked, looking heartbreakingly pitiful. Among the crowd, some voices began to speak up. "Grandfather, maybe?" Anne was just momentarily confused. "Isn't expelling her a bit too harsh?" "That's right, Uncle. If this gets out, it could affect your reputation. People will say the Tam family is heartless, that the old man has no mercy." The old man's gaze flickered, and he looked at me troubled. As for me, my eyes darkened. "Female-led. Don't go too far after all. The female antagonist is the biggest villain. If you don't show mercy, you're done for. I give up." "If the female lead is smart, she'll know to keep the antagonist around. The situation is so obvious now, can't she see it?" I gave a faint smile, my expression calm and unmoved. My voice was light, drifting without emotion. "All right, dear elders, what everyone says is not without reason." Tam Ann immediately breathed a sigh of relief, her eyes lit up with hope. But I changed my tone instantly, cold as snow in winter. "Night. But the Tem family has always been clear on right and wrong, fair and just. Anne made a mistake. She must bear the punishment. I remember the family rules are very clear. Rule number 2, offending the ancestors requires 100 bows of repentance. Do wrong, bear the consequence. Does anyone have objections?" The hall was dead silent. Everyone glanced at each other, but no one dared speak. "Very well, you are absolutely right." The old master nodded in approval, even clapped his hands and shouted, "Do as she says. Each bow must echo, only then can it be called an apology to the ancestors." The smile on Tam Ann's face froze, "Grandfather. Decision made, no more talk." The old man's voice was firm, leaving no room for negotiation. He decisively turned and helped me to the main seat. I glanced around the grand hall and noticed Taminchu had disappeared at some point. I withdrew my gaze and smiled faintly. As expected, moments later, Tam Ann was escorted by 2 guards. She knelt down. On the marble floor, her shoulders held tightly with no way to escape. For the first time in her life, someone as arrogant as her had to suffer such humiliation. "Bow your head," I said flatly. Smack! The sound of forehead hitting the marble floor rang clear, sending chills down the spine. I casually picked up an apple from the tray. The old man handed me munching on it while watching the show. Tam Ann raised her head, eyes bloodshot, as if she wanted to devour me alive, but before she could open her mouth, her head was pushed down again. Smack, smack, smack. The 20th, the 30th, then the 50th bow. Her forehead was bleeding, her cheeks soaked with tears. By the 100th bow, blood was dripping down. I did not press further and called someone to take her away for first aid, then calmly announced, "Begin the banquet." Music started playing. The old man cheerfully displayed a bunch of new tech gadgets. My eyes lit up like a child's. I absent-mindedly picked up a brick to crack open a walnut. On the plate, crack, a bodyguard turned pale and spoke timidly. "Madam, the brick you used was the old master's phone." I looked down at the screen, shattered like a spider web, stunned. The old man also froze for a few seconds, then suddenly burst out laughing. "No problem. If you like cracking walnuts, you can use that. It's not just for making calls, you know." He excitedly opened new apps, handling them skillfully. I was amazed watching him. "Biting into the apple," I muttered. "Only 50 years. And the world has changed this much already." The old man nodded, gripping my hand tightly. "Sister, back then I took over the pickle stand you left behind. Right when the reform started, I seized the opportunity, turned it into a factory, then a corporation. People say I was lucky, but I know the greatest luck in my life was having you." He looked at me with eyes so emotional they trembled. I took a tissue to wipe his tears and said sternly, "What are you crying for? A man should swallow his tears into his heart." Immediately, the old man shut his mouth, bracing himself like a child being scolded. His face, both pitiful and funny, made me burst out laughing. Outside the door, Tam Thoy An entered, followed by 2 bodyguards. He stood straight still, a bit awkward, but the sparkle at the corner of his eyes couldn't be hidden. "Grandma, Grandpa, I'm home," I smiled, pulled his hand and sincerely said, "Toy Ann, I truly have to thank you. If it weren't for you, I would have been kicked out of here long ago." The old master also smiled, his eyes full of guilt. "That's right, Toy Ann, we're lucky to have you. You were very brave just now. I must thank you too. Grandpa really failed you from childhood until now. I haven't cared enough. From now on, I will truly cherish you more, Tamthoy." Anne blushed and stammered, "No, it's okay. This is what I should do. Besides, I still owe Grandma an apology for breaking her portrait when I was a kid." His voice trailed off. I smiled gently and reassured him. "It broke, so what if the old doesn't go? How can the new come, Thoyan? You know how to draw, right?" He was stunned. "I do study fine arts." "But how did you know, Grandma?" The corners of the old man's eyes creased with a gentle smile. "Your dad, he's sharp at reading people. He can tell someone's profession just with one glance, 8 or 9 times out of 10. What Grandma means is, you should draw a new portrait for her. That way the past is wiped clean. Would you agree?" Tamthoy An's eyes reddened with gratitude, and he nodded repeatedly. "Yes, of course I'd love to." "Ever since I was little, Grandpa always said if it weren't for Grandma, there wouldn't be the Tem family we have today. To me, Grandma is always my idol, being able to draw for her." I'm really happy, I laughed, unable to hide my delight. This kid, such a smooth talker. The old man also nodded, smiling. At that moment, a maid brought over a glass of medicine and reminded Sir, "It's time for your medication." I was slightly surprised. "You're sick with what I asked?" The old man took the glass of medicine, smiling gently. "I'm old now, can't avoid some minor illnesses. That's why I was so eager to pick an heir, but now that you're back, I suddenly feel like I might live a little longer." I laughed lightly and tapped his head. "Stop talking so much, just take your medicine and get well properly." The old man nodded, smiling obediently, like a child. After the party, he led me to a private room. Inside was decorated exactly to my taste, making me quite surprised. Seeing my reaction, he spoke softly. "It's been 50 years. I've always believed you would come back. This room I kept for you. If anything is not to your liking, just let me know." My heart softened. My lips curved into a smile. "All right, thank you." After he left, I washed my face and lay down on the bed. Just as I was drifting to sleep, I was startled awake by some noise outside. I got up and opened the door. "What's going on?" A maid immediately ran over to explain, "Madam, just now the old master had an attack. He was taken to the hospital by the guards, but it's not serious. He also told us to inform you so you wouldn't worry, I nodded and returned to bed but couldn't fall asleep. A strange sense of unease rose in my chest. Suddenly, the phone rang, signaling a message. I quickly opened it. A few lines of ominous text appeared before my eyes. Your brother is in my hands. If you want him alive, come to this location immediately. Don't even think about calling the police. It won't help. If I detect anything unusual, I will kill him on the spot. My heart clenched violently. After a moment of silence, the virtual comment section exploded again like fireworks. See, I told you, how could the second female lead and the male lead let the main female lead off so easily? Her retribution has come. She probably still doesn't know yet. The whole Tam family is under the second female lead. If she wants to stay alive, she'd better run while she still can. The comments clung like demons, unwilling to let go, casually grabbed a nearby rag doll and hurled it at the screen. So noisy, die already, shut up all of you. The comments flickered for a moment, then disappeared. I clenched my fingers, grabbed a coat, muttered a random excuse to the maid and rushed out of the house. At an abandoned warehouse, I saw the old man tied to a chair with a dirty rag stuffed in his mouth. His eyes lit up when he saw me struggling violently. I was about to rush forward when a few guards stepped out, blocking my path. Behind me, a familiar, cold voice rang out. Surprised, Arrant. You, all the maids and guards in the Tem household, are already mine. The medicine the old man took tonight was also tampered with by my people, so he would fall ill in the middle of the night and you would walk right into the trap. I thought you were clever, but turns out you're this naive, so easy to lure. I turned around to see Tam and An and Tu Min Chu slowly stepping out of the shadows, eyes full of mockery, looking down at me from above. Tuto, Min Chu sighed as if disappointed. Chi Yen, I gave you so many chances. Even earlier I used the virtual comments to warn you. But why won't you listen? Why do you insist on seeking death like this? Thamon sneered, that's who she is, won't cry until she sees the coffin. Well then, let me send you off today. She picked up a gun from the table. I froze, but my voice remained calm. Grandpa always loved you deeply, Hes innocent. If you want to aim at someone, aim at me. Him innocent Tam. And Anne laughed as if she had just heard the most ridiculous thing in the world. Her shoulders shook with rage. Tam Chi Yen, what gives you the right to say that? Do you know how hard I worked to gain his approval, to be worthy of inheriting the Tam family? While other kids were playing, I was buried in corporate documents. I studied. I worked hard. I stayed up until 3 in the morning. Just so no one could steal his gaze, his love from me, I paid too high a price. Why does everything belong to you the moment you return? Tears rolled down Tamarnan's cheeks as her voice trembled with indignation. I sighed inwardly, trying to keep my voice calm. If all you want is the inheritance, I can give it up. Everything can be negotiated. There's no need to push things this far. Shut up. Tam An shouted, cutting me off. You're the one who benefits the most and you still pretend to be kind in front of me. I looked straight into her eyes, suppressing a deep sigh inside. Then, what do you want me to do? Taman An crossed her arms, her eyes filled with malice. You sisters are supposed to be close, right? Today only one of you gets to live. Min Chu stepped in front of me, offering a pill, his expression reluctant. Chien, I really didn't want things to come to this, but you've brought it on yourself. Taman's lips curled into a cold smile. This pill is a special import, just one, and you'll die instantly. But if you refuse, I'll shoot the old man in the head right now. She raised the gun, aiming directly at Grandpa's temple. His eyes widened as he struggled to spit out the dirty rag in his mouth, his voice hoarse as he shouted, Run! Don't worry about me. I'm old. There's not much time left for me, but you're still young. Run! Smack Taman frowned, slapped him hard, then bent down to stuff the rag back in. Shut up! You're about to die and still making noise. I looked at him one last time before reaching out to take the pill, glancing at my wrist to check the time. When I looked up again, I met Taman's mocking gaze. Made up your mind yet? Will you die or will he? I took a deep breath and gave a faint smile. How about this? Let's make a bet. If you win, I won't just give up the inheritance, I'll even offer both our lives to you. But if I win, you let us go. Ann paused, then burst into laughter. You're really insane. Fine, I agree. What's the bet? I pulled a coin from my pocket and held it up. A coin toss. Heads, I win. Tails, you win. 3 rounds. First to win 2 decides. 2. Min-Chu frowned Chi-Yen. You don't have to do this. Enough, I agree. An cut him off, stepping in front of me. Let's begin. Click. The coin hit the ground with a crisp sound. An laughed gleefully. First round I win. Chi-Yen want to say any last words? I replied calmly. No need. Second toss, the coin fell again. I slowly lifted my head. This round I win. An froze, then snatched the coin from my hand. Last one, let me toss. The coin spun, rolled across the floor, and stopped right by Grandpa's foot. An went pale. Her face froze. I burst into laughter. Seems like even the heavens aren't on your side. I walked toward Grandpa. As agreed, let him go, will you? An's fingers clenched, tight eyes filled with hatred. I ignored her and continued forward, reaching out to untie Grandpa. Bang! A gunshot rang out. The bullet grazed my arm, making me wince in pain. Ann still held the gun, a mocking smile on her lips. I was just joking, and you took it seriously. I want both your lives and the Tam family's fortune. She slowly raised the gun, pointing it straight at my chest. Ann. Min-Chu rushed forward in panic to grab the gun, but the guards immediately restrained him. Ann glared, her voice icy cold. Get a grip. She's just a mission. Now that the mission has failed, why do you still care? Stop me again and I'll kill you too. I clutched my bleeding arm and glanced at my wrist. It was time. A countdown began in my mind. As Ann narrowed her eyes, her finger nearly pulling the trigger, I suddenly lunged toward Grandpa, holding him tightly as we both crashed to the floor. Ann froze for a moment. Right then, bang, the door was kicked open. A storm of gunfire echoed like rain. 2 bullets hit Ann straight in the legs. She collapsed to the ground. Min-Chu tried to flee with the guards but was swiftly subdued by the police. Ann rushed in with doctors to support me and Grandpa. Grandpa, are you both okay? Ann gritted her teeth, her eyes wide with shock. Who are these police? Ann glanced at her voice ice cold. My grandma said if reporting to City A's police was useless. Since you have people in the system, then I should call someone else, National Police. I looked at her, the corner of my lips curling into a sarcastic smile. Ann's eyes contracted violently, despair flooding her expression. So that's it? That coin toss stunt was just to buy time. Chi-Yen Yu, you're truly despicable. At that moment, a female officer stepped forward, handcuffed her, and pulled out her badge. We are officers from the National Security Bureau. Chi-Yen is under national protection. You have posed a serious threat to a high-security individual. No, it wasn't me. Min-Chu collapsed, crawling toward me, his voice trembling. Chi-Yen, I never really wanted to hurt you. She forced me. Chi-Yen, please forgive me. An helped me up. I looked down at him coldly, then stepped directly on the hand he reached out in supplication. Sorry, I have no intention of forgiving someone involved in harming a state-protected individual. The entire incident shocked the city. The government immediately launched an investigation. Everyone involved, including insiders in the city police, was dealt with. An and Min-Chu and those who aided them would likely spend the rest of their lives behind bars. After Grandpa and I recovered, we completely restructured the staff of housekeepers and security. Those who had once sided with An came groveling, begging forgiveness, trying to win my favor. Everything finally came to an end. After being left behind by the times for 50 years, I had to throw myself into relearning everything technology, finance law, and society. Fortunately, I absorbed things quickly. A year later, I officially took over the TAM Corporation. Tam Thoy An was appointed executive assistant. That day, under the stage murmurs could be heard. Someone 50 years outdated is now running a major corporation. Can she really handle it? I bet it'll collapse sooner or later. A man beside them scoffed and shook his head. Don't judge by appearances. I've heard stories about her. She's extraordinary. Don't worry. His eyes turned to the stage. Tam Corporation won't fall. On the contrary, she'll lead it into a glorious new era.